This is Frank Avila, your host, and welcome once again to our show. On my right, I have my co-host, Anita Praitza, local area media personality and Fox News employee. And on my left, I have our guest, a frequent guest to our show, but has not been on in some years, Sifu, James McNeil. And for our viewing audience, all Sifu means, one time I said it, somebody thought I said seafood. No, seafood, it just means teacher in Chinese, and some people call him old teacher or great teacher because he is a teacher. He doesn't like the term master.
True.
So some people call him Sifu or Lao Tzu, old teacher or great teacher. And he is a student and teacher of Little Nine Heaven Kung Fu.
Yes, sir.
And Little Nine Heaven Kung Fu is a Kung Fu system, and we're going to get into it, that embodies fighting arts, healing arts, and really is a very all-encompassing system, and no stranger to our show. Now, without embarrassing you or putting you in a spot, because I think actually it could impress our viewing audience, how old are you?
I'm 67.
Okay. 67 years old, and I have seen you, and you've been on our show where you've done 2-finger push-ups and done some amazing, amazing things. But real briefly, because we only have a half hour, tell us how you got involved in the martial arts.
I got involved in martial arts when I was 24. I was married to a lady, and I had a son from another previous engagement lady, and I came home from work one day. She beat his head against the wall, killed him. So I either had choices, either doing drugs, alcohol, killing her, or joining martial arts school. So I joined a martial arts school, and I've been in it ever since.
Okay. Now, what was the first school you were in? And I think that on the screen we have one of your first teachers.
The first school I was in was called Splashing Hands. This teacher is named McNeil, and is a very fast and effective system of Kung Fu.
Okay.
Now,
and that is a system you told me is similar to Muhammad Ali in terms of mixing footwork, sort of like boxing, mixing footwork with punches and practicing it so it's very fast.
It's very fast. The combinations of the footwork and the hands and feet, they must move together.
Now, Master Lafiti, he was a Hawaiian or Samoan, is that correct?
He was a Samoan.
Very big man, I
Very
understand.
big man. He was about 6'3", very powerful and very fast.
Okay. And then, and that was a more physical art, an external art, a lot of full contact sparring, and like you said, Master Lafiti was 6'3", a couple 100 pounds, and Samoans are a big race. What was the next art that you studied?
Well, the next art I studied was Shaolin with a teacher named Ralph Shun.
Okay.
And I learned the 5-animal Shaolin system from Ralph Shun. I stayed with him for about 5 years.
I have a quick question. Is this a progression of each practice that you're taking, you know, from the first to the next to the third step?
Well, the way it turned out, yes. And I started off with fighting, then went to Shaolin, which was more in forms and fighting, and then I started getting into the internal arts, which is more advanced.
Now, in Shaolin, was that more external or was that more internal?
The Shaolin was external system, where we learned weapons and forms and fighting.
Now, and then with Splashing Hands with Master Lafiti, was that also more external?
That's considered external, but you need to be very relaxed. You need to move very fast, and the only way you can do that is if you're relaxed. And then at the last minute on contact is when you would tighten your hands.
Now, I sometimes go to the magazine store or to the Barnes & Noble or Borders, and there's a magazine rack, and I sometimes pick up the martial arts magazine. There's Inside Kung Fu, and there's different ones, karate. And I've actually seen you in a number of magazine articles, so we could talk a little bit about it, because I saw a recent one where it was, how does Xing Yi apply to mixed martial arts? Because mixed martial arts, Ultimate Fighting Championships, all the rage. And there's that Brazilian guy who's very, very good, not the Gracie, but the new guy, and the one gentleman from Chicago, or Illinois, I can't even think of his name now. So very tough, very hard, very young, very fast, very good fighters. But you were talking about how Xing Yi can help mixed martial arts. So one, let me ask you a couple questions, and then you could you take it away. One, what is the difference between external and internal martial arts, number one? Number two, tell us about some of the articles you've had in these different martial arts magazines, including Inside Kung Fu and the like that I see at the bookstores. And number three, tell us about this latest article you had about how you would apply an internal martial art like Xing Yi and what you practice to mixed martial arts.
What was your first question?
The first question is, what is the difference between internal and external martial arts?
The difference between the internal martial arts and the external martial arts is that In the external, you're using more strength. It's more external, you're using more power, and you need to be tense most of the time through your forearms. The internal is a very relaxed system, which you need power, but proper alignment. And it's just as if, like in water, water is very soft. It flows over your body. Put that in a raging river, and what do you have? Nothing can hold us back.
I have a question. How do the teaching styles of each of the external, internal differ when you're being taught these skills? How do they differ? Are they...
Well, basically they're taught the same way, except but they have different forms and different styles. The teacher would teach you basically the same way from the very basics, and you work your way up.
Is one more disciplined, though? Is the fighting more disciplined, or the way that they teach you, or is it very more rigid, or is it more relaxed in the internal?
The fighting in both of them are more or less the same, except in the fighting it should be done, in the internal, it's done very fast, and you use more of the palm of hitting, and the fight shouldn't last over more than 10 seconds.
So tell us about some of the articles you were in these magazines. And I know there's one recently, and I want to talk to you a little more about the more recent article.
I've been in about 43 different magazines, and we made 35 videos. And the last magazine article was for how to make an MMA fighter a better fighter.
And that's mixed martial arts, what graduated from the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu into the cage matches, the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Yes, that's what it consists of. We didn't say that their fighting is not good. We're just saying that some of the techniques that we have from the Little Nine Heaven system and from the Splash and Hand system can make them a lot better fighter and a faster fighter. And so we tried to show some of the different techniques and try to push that, saying that we can help them be a better fighter.
And Little Nine Heaven, your studio is based in California?
It's in California. It's in Banning, California, and then I teach privately also out of Irvine, California.
And how long have you had that studio for?
The one in Banning, we just started that about a year ago.
Have you got a good response from people there? Have a lot of people enrolled in the classes?
Oh, it comes and goes. I've been traveling a lot, so we haven't had too many classes up there.
And are they mixed classes? Are they mostly male or female? Or
I have male and females in our classes.
Okay.
And they usually stay there for 1 month or 2 months at a time and train 8 hours a day.
So your school, to back up, so but you've had a school for decades.
I've been teaching at a school since 1979. I opened up my first school. I've had a school ever since then. We used to teach out of a regular building, like a shopping center of some sort. Then I opened up a place out in Rainbow, California, but towards San Diego, which was on 4 acres of land. Had every kind of fruit trees you could think of, and it was out and very beautiful, and there was eat, sleep, and train martial arts.
Yeah, you used to have animals running around, peacocks. Yeah,
we had animals.
It was a wonderful place.
So the idea behind that was basically get their mind, body, everything involved in
mind,
the art.
body, and soul. Where they did meditation, they practiced martial arts.
And I personally have been at your retreat, and Rainbow is quite a beautiful place. So let me show you the distinction for our viewing audience. You don't. Most schools you go and you could train a long time, maybe hours a day, but you would go after work or after school. In yours, it's different. So people go for months at a time where they train all day rather than maybe 2 or 3 times a week for a year.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
They would wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they would train till 5 o'clock in the evening, and then they would have dinner, and then after dinner I expect them to train another 3 hours before going to bed.
Okay. So you're training all day, every day?
All day. That's they eat, sleep, and train. That's all they do.
Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about your next martial art after Shaolin. So you had Master Lafiti, that was Splashing Hands. Then you had Ralph Shun, and you did the Shaolin system. What was the next martial art that you studied?
The next system was Xingyi, which is Master Shi Hong Chi was my teacher. And he taught me the internal systems of Xingyi. He also taught me acupressure, meditation, and then he got into the love-making aspect of Kung Fu.
Okay. Now, that's your instructor there?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then after Xingyi, what did you study?
And after Xingyi, I studied Chen Tai Chi with Master Pan Wenzhou.
Okay.
And then I also studied at the same time with Mr. Jing, and I also studied with Mr. Chao Tseng Hong. I studied 3 teachers at the same time, and I would practice about 10 hours a day.
10 hours a day.
Can you give a little bit of a description of each of the things that you've mastered or you've become a teacher at, just so people can kind of get an idea for these things?
Okay, well, in the internal arts, I've I've learned Xingyi, which is a very fast and effective Xingyi system, which teaches you spirit. The main thing that most styles don't have today, even with Tai Chi, they don't have spirit within their Tai Chi. So Xingyi will teach you how to put spirit in your system. Then after Xingyi, then I learned Chen Tai Chi. Chen Tai Chi is the oldest form of Tai Chi known today, and we from Master Pan Wenzhou, and we have the oldest form that is out there today.
Now, one thing about Chen Tai Chi that I've noticed, and I think you can see some of the videos on YouTube of Master Chen, or at least one video where he's doing a partial form.
Yes, there is.
And is that Chen Tai Chi seemed much more combative than the Yang style that's normally taught. Because I attended one of your classes where you did Chen Tai Chi. I remember I got pulled down. I thought I had an electric shock. I got pulled. I got yanked. I got pushed. It wasn't just kind of relaxing Tai Chi as I normally thought.
Chen Tai Chi is actually softer than Yang, even though it doesn't look like it. It actually consists of the yin and yang, which are positive and negative within our body, with Yang Tai Chi is mostly the yin aspect of it. And it's definitely a fighting art of Kung Fu Tai Chi, is the Chen style Tai Chi.
Okay. Now, after you studied these the fighting systems, and you said, I remember we had talked, you have done full contact sparring and 10 hours of training and all of these things. When did you turn to start studying healing? I noticed on your thing you have acupressure, you have massage, you have meditation. When did you start doing other non-combative aspects of martial arts?
Well, in the Xingyi class, Shi Hong Qi, he also taught the healing aspects of Kung Fu. He has, in Kung Fu, in the internal systems, you must learn how to fight as well as heal a person. So if you break something, you should know how to fix it.
I think most people don't really know that aspect of Kung Fu. When they think about it, they think of maybe Bruce Lee movies or something, when they just see, you know, just fast fighting and lots of hands and people going down, but they don't really realize that aspect that you're talking about, and also bringing up the spirit. Is that a part that you really try and make more incorporated into your teaching?
Yes, I do. Spirit is probably one of the most important things in the system, as well as feeling. You have to know how to feel. Now, when we say feeling, we don't mean I just touch you, but you need to feel how he reacts. Feelings is an acupressure, fighting, and lovemaking. You must know how to feel, you must know how to touch, and it must take within fractions of a second to learn how to feel. And then you put the spirit in with this, and then you have balance, centered, and solid, and you can be very dangerous if you know how to fight.
Does the idea of balance, you mentioned yin and yang, have a lot to do with maybe Buddhist religion and the religions behind the art forms?
It has a lot to do with the Taoist religion,
okay.
The balance of yin yang. Everything in the world consists of yin, yin, and yang. And the Taoists have perfected the yin and yang through acupressure, to acupuncture, through healing medicines, to psychic abilities, and you need this balance of yin yang.
Okay. Now, I'd like to just tell our viewing audience that some of the images you're going to see, they're not at all illegal or pornographic. However, they could be shocking, and that we're going to talk about a sensitive subject. So if there are young children or anybody who has a sensitivity, we'd encourage you to turn the channel or turn off the TV, because one of the things you also do is a sexually related training of Kung Fu. And I remember I saw on PBS or I think it was BBC, British television, that there's this Chinese guy in Australia or Hong Kong or wherever he was, I think it was Australian TV, and he could pull a car apparently from his genitalia or from his pelvic region. And this was part of a training of some kind of Qigong, and I saw another one about Shaolin monks, and they would get kicked in the groin. They would kick each other in the groin, and it wouldn't hurt. In fact, I think they're actually traveling with a dance troupe all around the world. I heard they have a wonderful, great thing that they break things with their head, and maybe there's some trickery there or physics that I don't understand. But one of them was that they would kick each other actually in the groin. And that part of your training has been indeed this to harden your body and
resistance?
For your health.
Is it more resistance, or is, because I mean,
are these stunts? Is this false?
Yeah.
Is this fake?
No, it's the system is called Shi Sui Gong. Shi Sui Gong is a part of the Little Nine Heaven system. The Little Nine Heaven system is the oldest Taoist system known today. It dates back to 2698 BC in the reign of Wan Di. It consists of weapons, consists of shisui, and it consists of fighting. So the system that you're talking about now is called shisui, where you basically strengthen the genitals area and all the sexual organs within your body. Now, our body works on vibrations. So what you do, you learn how to condition all the internal organs within your system and to make them strong through breathing techniques and through the shisui training.
I have to break in because that's a pretty amazing photo, and I don't know if it's Photoshop or it's trickery or there's something I don't see, but you appear to be having some kind of towel. I mean, and your girl's swinging from you. Well, is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying. I have picked up over 220 pounds with my genitals, and
oh my goodness.
It conditions all the internal organs, how strong you can become. People go to gyms, they exercise, they run, they lift weights, they strengthen every part of their body except for one part, and that is the genital area, which is the most important part
and
that
their
you should
brains
strengthen.
too.
Excuse me?
When they go to gyms, I'm just adding that they also...
Yeah, they go to gym, they strengthen everything else but that.
Okay.
And sexual energy is the strongest energy we have.
Well, I know the Taoists believe that when you're healthy, that the sexual drive is an indication of health.
Yes, it is, and the kidneys.
Okay, and that when you have a high sex drive, that it's an indication of health, but that energy needs to be sublimated back into your body in some way. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Taoist belief?
Taoists believe that sexual energy is the strongest energy we have, and what you do through meditations or through lovemaking, you circulate this sexual energy, and it keeps you healthy and strong. So you do not get weak, and you can stay healthy. I haven't been sick in years. And
now, when you say sexual energy, just for our viewing audience, you don't necessarily mean just having sex with another person.
No, I don't. I mean, you take the sexual energy within your body through meditations. It's not only through sexual intercourse. The sexual energy, you must put it through the different organs in your body. It builds up the hormones within body, testosterone in men, and it's a very powerful training to keep you healthy and strong.
Now, there's a YouTube video where I also saw you swinging weights. Now, it's blacked out, so there's no nudity, there's no pornography, there's no genitalia showing, and sometimes you're having a towel or a sheet, but you're actually swinging weights, and that is on YouTube. Where can I find that video on YouTube?
You can go on the YouTube on genital weightlifting, or you can go on L9H swinging, and you can find that.
Okay. Now, one might say, isn't this dangerous?
If it's done the wrong way, yes, it can be very dangerous.
Because I would say, couldn't I get a hernia?
Like, don't try this at home, I think would be a good
don't try
comment
this
to
at
make.
home. It takes initially 3 weeks of training every single day for me to teach you. And then after that, you practice on your own.
How many hours a day, too?
It takes about an hour and a half per day, but it must be done every day. And I am with you each minute watching you to make sure it's done correctly. Through the many years I've been teaching this, no one has ever been injured.
Now, I know that you show me some, so this our viewing audience doesn't think that we're all lost our minds. Now, many of the exercises you showed me are completely clothes on, nobody's naked, there's nothing weird. It's like very simple, rubbing the kidneys. You showed me to rub my back or to rub the sides, or women where their ovaries are. I mean, some of the exercises are merely rubbing parts of the body.
What are those exercises supposed to do?
Well, like many people who teach Qigong exercises, they teach just the ordinary Qigong exercises with proper breathing and movements. What we specialize is in strengthening each and every organ. So you can strengthen the kidneys, you can strengthen your ovaries.
By just simply rubbing it externally?
Through breathing.
Okay.
The mind guides the Qi. And you put the Qi in any organ that you want, as well as rubbing some parts of the body, but you must bring the Qi in there.
You mentioned Qi. What is Qi?
Qi is basically the blood. You must enhance the blood and increase the red blood cells to make you stronger and stronger and stronger. The stronger your blood is, the healthier you're going to be.
Okay. Now, I one time went to a Tai Chi master in Oak Park. So I has to weigh some lao, and at that time I was younger, so I got a little scared. I did not go back. Or actually, I take that back. I did train for a little bit, but he didn't come in a lot, and he kind of scared me. And he told me, and I had just been training Kung Fu. I was younger. I was in very good shape. And he said, Kung Fu is physical. He goes, Tai Chi no is physical. And I don't mean to be offensive by doing the imitation. And he touched me, and I don't know if he touched me or not, or it was very light, but he touched me, and I mean, he was this up, and I went flying from here to the end of this, where our studio is. I mean, I went flying, and it kind of scared me because I didn't know if I got hypnotized or I got electric shocked. And then he took my arm and he goes Hapkido, and he's doing twists, very easy. It was it's physical, Hapkido, Jiu-Jitsu, physical. Then he pulled me. I did feel him pull me. I felt an electric shock through my body, and I went flat on the floor. Was this, so what is this? Is this a magnetic field? Is this trickery? Is this only physical principles? Or is there some kind of energy system in the body that can get some kind of result?
There's energy within your body that can produce this. It takes a lot of training. He is a very good teacher. He's very powerful and strong, and he's very good at what he does. This is done through an internal system, and where you look like you're not even pushing a person, and they'll fly. It's not strength that's doing this. It's the internal system of your body throwing the chi and energy out from your body.
So,
whereas when Bruce Lee did the 1-inch punch, that was a physical, there's some kind of physics principle. I'm not good enough to do it, but when you put the telephone book or whatever, and he would do the 1-inch punch and the person would go flying, that, I don't know if it may be internal also, but because he was relaxed, but that's a physics principle.
That's a physics principle. We have a no-inch punch.
Okay.
Where our hands is right next to our palm, and then you just fly.
Okay.
And how long does that take to learn that or master that
It
technique?
basically depends on the individual, how much time he practices, and also it depends on the teacher, how much he wants to get involved in teaching this person the true secrets of this art.
And can you just start at any point? Can you just start and say, I want to learn this technique, and just push someone like
the teacher will have to test you. He has to trust you. I've been with my teachers, internal teachers, for over 20 years, and I've learned a lot from them, and they've trusted me.
Now, this is Cable Access Network. That's why I always tell our guests, and we have to tell on our show, we cannot promote any private sector books, but I understand you do have a foundation and a non-for-profit and ways people can contact you that is not a business-related way. Could you please give us your website, a phone number, any information, so they could contact you if they were interested in learning anything that you offer?
Yes, they can get a hold of on the website, www.little9heaven.com.
Little9heaven.com, spelled out.
And or you can go to www.beautifulrainbow.com.
Okay.
And you can call my cell phone number is 949-636-1573.
Again, the phone number is 949-636-1573, and that's your personal cell phone number.
That's my personal cell phone.
And they can take the classes here in Chicago, or would they have to, how would they get in touch with you or in touch with the
travel, they can call me. I travel all over the world. And if they want private lessons in Chicago, I can come to Chicago, or they can come to California.
Now, you've been on our show before. I want you to tell us a little bit about Update, because I know you were writing a book, The Story of My Life, or The Story of One's Life, and you have changed your format a little bit, and you've been focusing more on the health issues rather than the fighting issues. Acupressure, massage, the Shishui, and that. Give us an update of what you're doing and what's happening in the little. And you have a foundation, a newsletter, and I really like the newsletter. I read it to my son. It's talking about teaching etiquette and manners and morals, something you don't hear a lot today. Respecting your elders, which is a very Chinese concept, a very Taoist concept, very Confucian concept. So you have a foundation, a newsletter. And tell us how people can get in contact, maybe join the foundation or receive the newsletter, and what is the update of where Little Nine Heaven is today?
Well, the Little Nine Heaven is growing. It's we're all over the world now. We're in Sweden, England, Poland, Russia, Germany.
You just got back from Russia, right?
I just got back from Russia. I spent 3 weeks there teaching people the Shishui training and lovemaking training. And they can get a hold of me at little9heaven.com. They can email me at Sifu, SIFU, L9H@gmail.com, and I answer all the emails myself. And
Sifu 9LH L9H at gmail.com. You're also on Facebook. And some of your students are on MySpace, I know.
We just started a Facebook account, and we're trying to promote health and longevity. I've been pushing the Shishui training even more and more due to the fact that one of the doctors who took the Shishui training swears that we don't know how good it really is, because he took it. He's a medical doctor here in Chicago, And he swears that it has more benefits than we even imagine, and how powerful it is.
And a lot of it, I mean, you're exercising your mind and your body. What about your diet and things that you're eating? How does that affect, or how does that come into play with the teachings that you
Well, it's
have?
just so funny you asked. We don't have a special diet.
No, really?
No, we don't.
So you could eat whatever you want?
I eat everything. My teachers ate everything. They believe that the chi can overcome the food that you eat, as long as it's decent food, not just a hamburger every single day.
Right.
But you need the practice also. I practice about 4 hours every day.
Okay.
So the exercise counterbalances
The diet.
Okay.
But in the Taoist philosophy, it does believe in balance, so one wouldn't overindulge in food.
We try not to overindulge in food because that's not good for your system anyway.
And obviously alcohol and no alcohol. And
Well, you can have alcohol, but do it moderately. Don't overdo it.
Okay. I'm surprised. I thought there might have been some stricter diet there at all.
No. In some systems, they say you have to have a strict diet, like in yoga, some other things. But if you do proper Qigong exercises, the diet is not that important.
I have a question about a couple of the other things that you teach, iron hands and splashing hands.
Iron hand. Yes, I've taught iron hand. I've been doing it since 1969, I guess it was.
And when you were on the first time, we did a video of you punching the railroad spikes.
Right. I can break. My hands have no calluses.
Wow.
But there's nothing I can't break. I used to break bricks with my fingertips, pound the spike with the back of the hand. I can break anything with the palm of the hand. The palm of the slap is very powerful.
So it's just using your hands. That's why it's called iron hands.
Yes.
Okay.
And they say iron hand because it's so powerful and strong, but it doesn't. Like Japanese, their hands they have a lot of calluses. The Chinese believe in preserving the body to make the body healthy and strong.
Okay.
And tell us, I know the practice for hours in a day, though, you are punching into various materials and boiling. And
well, we have to have herbs, and we boil into herbs, but you need to do special breathing exercises while your hands are in those herbs, and a lot of meditation, and putting your hands into beans to strengthen them internally.
I have a question for anybody watching out there. What's something that they could do today to create a life of better health and better longevity? What's something, also in addition to getting maybe in contact with you, what do you have as far as advice in the last minute or so we have?
Well, I would say that, of course, eat the proper food, get the proper rest, and proper breathing. I think proper breathing is very important, and if they can do Qigong exercises the proper way, I think it's very good for everyone.
A lot of medical studies indicate that a practice of Tai Chi and Qigong does improve your health.
It will definitely improve your health. Tai Chi and Qigong exercise will strengthen your health and make you very healthy and strong.
And right before we go, can you give your contact information one more time so viewers out there can try and get in touch with you?
James McNeil, the telephone number is 949-636-1573.
Okay, and it's little9heaven.com?
It's little9heaven.com.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
James McNeil, and thank you, Frank Avila, for having me on the show today. Everyone out there, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. God bless.
Ho trovato già il coraggio di guardarmi dentro e dire no. Non avevo preso il treno giusto, non avrei dovuto mai salire. Mi confondo tra la gente, sento freddo, fame, malattie. Mi spavento, scopro la follia, la speranza è la mia libertà. Un giorno in più mi basterà per donarlo a chi non ce la fa, a chi non ha più fiducia e muore. Un giorno in più mi servirà per combattere questa bugia di una vita che vorrei